Aloha, Scott here, Hawaii's Local Buzz here at Paradise Meadows Farm, and today we're going to be talking about aquaponics. So, background for you, aquaponics is growing plants that the plants grow in water, and the water is fertilized by fish, and then the fish poop is changed into plant food by the microorganisms in the water. So this is our fish tank, and as you can see, there's lots of tilapia in here. Actually, you can mostly see the white ones. There's also a lot of black tilapia in here too that don't show up as well. Anyway, this is a 1,200 gallon tank. You can see in the center, we aerate it. That gives the fish plenty of oxygen in the water. And then they do their part. They eat the fish food we give them. So we do add a commercial fish food, which is actually a trout food that has the balanced nutrition they need to do well in the aquaponics. So this tank holds about, I think I said 1,200 gallons of water. One pipe that you see there in the middle is where the air comes through and aerates the water, and the second pipe, which I'll show you here in a minute, is where the water comes back from the lower tank, and we'll actually see that later. So from this tank, it's siphoned out in a perpetual siphon, so it always stays on. It's always siphoning off the water, and it goes into this tank. It's about a 150 gallon tank, and we call it our settling tank because I'm not sure you can see it, but a whole layer of stuff that has come out of the big tank, and this is one of the places where the microorganisms and the little fish, mosquito fish, digest it and turn it into plant food. So here it is coming out of the big tank. This is also a method we use to aerate the water some more, because the plants will also need air in the water. So anyway, beautiful day here at Paradise Meadows, by the way. Another beautiful day. And on top of this catchment, you see all these nice vines. These are actually a purple passion fruit, or lilikoi. And so, actually the top of the catchment tank, the cover, is also a source for fruit. So then the water is taken off the surface of the settling tank and then goes down this big pipe. And we're going to follow that big pipe down to the greenhouse where we'll see the rivers and also the beautiful field. Here's another one of our banana fields. These are called blue bananas, and they're not very tasty. They're more of a baking banana, but we'll cover bananas in another video. I actually have the aquaponic system with these 3 valves prepared to do 3 more rivers in this flat area that we may do one of these days. The pipe continues on down. It's all gravity flowing. Here's one pipe going off to one river, and at the other end is a second pipe going off to the big river. It's an 80-foot river, and then it stops down there on the end, and that's where we drain off some of the sludge and stuff that builds up over time. So you can see here the water comes into this end of the tank and flows into the river. So this is really like a totally natural system. So the water comes in like it would from rainfall, for example, or runoff, and then goes into the lake or the river, and that's where the plants grow. So here's some lettuce. So I'm going to show you how it grows. So we plant them in these little baskets on these floats, and this floats in the water, which is about 8 or 9 inches deep. If you look on the bottom, you see all the roots hanging in the water, and that's how the plants gather nutrition. So it's actually a very complementary system, because what the plants do is they clean the water when they're taking their nutrition in and get the water ready to go back up into the tank where the fish are. So cleans it up, takes all the nutrients out, makes it fresh again. So we have different kinds of lettuce in here. We're just actually in the process of redoing this tank. And so we had a new plastic, because the old plastic after 10 years already wore out and started to have holes in it, so it was leaking. Not a good thing. So this is cabbage in this tank. Over here, lettuce that's about maybe 5 or 6 days old. These are older lettuce plants. We call them lettuce trees. And it's about to bolt, so it'll actually create new seeds for us here on the top, and then we'll gather those and use them to replant the lettuce. So we also have some coleus in here because we want a lot of stuff to be able to clean the nutrients out of the water. And you can see all the roots hanging down in there. Also notice the roots are really white, and that's a feature of the mosquito fish. Basically minnows or small fish you get at the fish store, and what they eat is the algae that would grow normally on the bottom of these roots. But since we have the nice mosquito fish, they clean the roots off and eat all that algae out. Here's some more lettuce, musclin mix it's called. So you see all the roots hanging in there. And this is the 80-foot trough, and then over here we have this is our original trough that we started when we were learning how to do aquaponics about 10 years ago. Oh, and here's a bunch of mosquito fish. Let's see if we can get them in the shot, because they're really cool. They're just tiny little fish. I hope you can see those in there, swimming around. They love swimming in the water coming in from the collection tank at the top of the tilapia water. You can see we have hundreds and hundreds of little mosquito fish. And we have some neon tetra in there. And this is mint. And over here we have some watercress. You know, I can tell because it says watercress. Pretty cool, huh? And watercress are actually really popular at the farm. We're in the process of getting this back into being sellable produce. And some marigolds. So marigolds are an interesting plant because they attract bugs and things that would eat our other plants. So they kind of sacrifice themselves to help maintain the bug population, or reduce the bug population, or at least keep them redirected so they're not eating our plants. And then on this end, see that there, we have a drain, and that's where the water leaves this river. And I'll show you the one on the other side. And you might see some more mosquito fish. But it's also, that drain is how we maintain the level of the aquaponic river, so that it's a constant flowing. It flows in on the other end, way down there, and constant rerunning, and then it exits the tank down this end. And if the tank gets a little fuller, then it drains a little faster. You see it bubbling out here and there. And then when it gets low, it'll stop or slow down so that it keeps the water level just about the perfect spot. And then that leaves that and then goes down into this drain, and that's our connection to the next trough. So we're going to go outside here and look around at the beautiful plant life here at Paradise Meadows Farm. There's another one of our banana fields. Those are actually Cavendish bananas. And here's one of the coffee fields down here right below the house. There's the back lanais. Many people call it porches in Hawaii. We call them lanais. And we have a mango tree that actually has some blossoms on it, if you can see those. Get a little closer and see the blossoms. And that's where the mango will make its fruit. So we're right at the upper limit of mango trees growing. They like to grow around 1,000 feet or less. And we're here about 1,500 to 1,800 feet. And so we're right at its upper limit. Okay, so this is what we call the collection tank. This is where all the water that has gone through rivers and so forth comes down and collects into this tank. It's about a 300-gallon tank. And it also does some settling, and it's also got mosquito fish in it that we can't see because of the glare. And if you notice, I also have a hose here coming in. This is fresh water coming from a big catchment tank we have in the back of the field, the back of the farm. And there's a 28,000-gallon catchment tank back there. And we use that to fill aquaponics because you can't use county water because county water has chlorine in it. Oh, and we have somebody mowing one of the coffee fields. There he goes. So when coffee is young like that, we have to mow it until it gets big enough to where it blocks the sun so the grass doesn't grow. So he'll maintain that coffee field by mowing it. So anyway, this tank fills until this is a float valve. Over here we see a little black knob, and then this big pipe goes into the pump, which is what cycles the water back into the upper tank where the tilapia are. So it's going to turn on. You hear it come on right there, and then we'll watch the water is going to drop very quickly. So it actually pumps up to the big tank where the tilapia are up at the top through that pipe. So it's going up and it's routed along the greenhouse. And while we're passing, this is one of our pineapple fields, and I'll talk about those in another video. Pineapple's a really interesting crop, and most people come here, not most people, we have folks that come here and they go, I want to see a pineapple tree. Well, pineapple doesn't grow on trees. It grows like this. It's actually bromeliad. Like I say, we'll cover that in another one. And this is one of our gardens down here below the greenhouse where we grow a lot of different vegetables and plants. See all those gourds over there. We have spinach and broccoli and all kinds of stuff. Another feature of this one, before I go back up top, is a citrus field. This is what we call sign wood. And sign wood is the kind of wood or the kind of tree you use to cut off to graft onto other trees. So when you grow fruit trees, especially orange and citrus, grapefruit, lemons, you can't plant a lemon seed like you get at the store and you go, oh, I really like this lemon, I'm going to plant this seed, because they don't grow true from seed. So you really won't actually get the lemon that you thought was so good. So you have to plant rootstock that's really healthy, strong rootstock and is resistant to things in the soil. And then you graft on the kind of fruit you want to that rootstock. So all these have been grafted, and then we'll cut wood off here to, remember I said it was a beautiful day? Well, now it's starting to rain. Very common here. You can see up, I'll do a little bit of the clouds. You can't see much of them here, but we have little showers that come by. So I'm going to go back up to the upper tank where the tilapia are, and that'll complete the cycle. So again, think of it like you do a natural system where rainfall falls on the land, runs into lakes. Lakes go into rivers, and the river runs down into the ocean, and then the water there is evaporated up into the clouds, and the clouds go up, and you have rain like we have right now. And the rain again falls on the land. So that's kind of what our system is. It cycles through this system as naturally as possible. Something else you might want to know about aquaponics. Everybody's heard of hydroponics. It's an earlier form that people used before they figured out aquaponics. Although most people do aquaponics now because you don't have to worry about fish. You actually use chemical fertilizers in hydroponics to grow your plants. And the difference between hydroponics and aquaponics is those chemicals in hydroponics will eventually make the water toxic and kill the plants. So every year or two, you have to totally take your system apart and clean it, which is not the case with aquaponics. We've been running this system for a little over 10 years. I think I mentioned earlier, the long river down there actually finally wore out due to the sun and abuse from ducks and dogs and things. So you never clean this one. This system is naturally cleaning and operates and has operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 10 years. And the only thing we use, things we use that take other stuff to grow our plants is the electricity to run the bubble, the blower that actually aerates the water, the pump that recycles the water back up to this tank, and then fish food, which is a trout food. So that's our trip of the aquaponics farm. Here we are under the passion fruit vines. Isn't that beautiful? It's so nice and cool. Today it's about 73, 74 degrees. Again, the weather is going between sunny and light showers with a really, really nice breeze blowing today. The trades are here. That's always wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed your visit and your tour of the aquaponics system, and that you'll come back and see us. Look for more videos. I'm covering many things on the farm. So Scott again from Hawaii's Local Buzz at Paradise Meadows Farm. You can always find us because of the red tractor. We have 2 red tractors that are our icons. They're actually a 1940 some odd International Harvester tractor. Anyway, hope you enjoyed your stay and hope to see you soon. Aloha!